We complete each
Okay,
other.
it's rolling.
Here.
We just start. We start. Yes, you go. You just go.
Take one.
Okay, so we have Confucius, and he was a Chinese philosopher from the 6th century BC, I think. So I have the history, and you have more of the philosophy, right? So.
Yeah, something that just struck to me, kind of related to me, I think, why I picked him. So.
Okay. Well, he was, first of all, he was raised in poverty, and he came just like every other master, guru. They came in times of great need for humanity. So he came when there was like a major transition in China between governments. I think they were having, they had no social stability and no political order, so there was a lot of fighting going on, and there was constant chaos. So that's when Confucius was born. And they say that when he was born, his head was sort of like a crown, like in the middle. It's kind of hollow, so it was like this. I don't know. And I just thought that it was sort of like the Sahasrara, you know, it's open, and yeah. So what happened was his father died when he was 3, and so he was most likely an illegitimate child, and so him and his mother had to leave the town, their current town, and they were in a lot of poverty, and so he was very connected with the people. He did a lot of manual work, and also he had an incredible drive for knowledge, and since he was young, and so that drove him, and his mother supported him a lot with whatever she could for him to get an education that was available to him as a poor child back then. And once his mother died, he went into mourning for a year or so, and that is when he was left alone in the world. And it just happened to, I think, I don't know, but somehow a politician or someone met him, and he saw that he was very wise, and he gave him a job, and so he worked until he was 30, and then he went out because his main goal was for him to target the government and the politicians, because that's how he thought he would make a change. He also thought that like most sages and hermits, they would leave the world and go somewhere else and to find their own individual sort of enlightenment, but he wanted to change the world, and he was sort of like an early activist. He believed that if you targeted the politicians, the government, and there was a good government, it would sort of spread down to the people, and so it would influence the whole country. He believed that education was very important. He actually started a school in which every child of social class was welcome. So the princes would study with the peasants, and that was very different back then. And so also he became an advisor for for a prince, and he sort of helped the government a lot in that area, but his success was sort of travel to other neighboring townships, and so and they were getting very jealous, and so a few princes from outside of the town was the story that they sent the most beautiful girls to where Confucius was in his kingdom, to the prince there, and that distracted the prince, and so Confucius was very humiliated, so he left the town, and so that is how they got rid of him, so they could take advantage of the town. And after that he wandered in China for many years, and he was always looking out to find a virtuous prince that he could mentor, but he died at 80 something. He became very depressed in his later years because he thought that he had failed because he wasn't able to find someone that was virtuous enough. So that's the history part of it.
Okay. Out of picking one of these 10 primordial gurus, I wasn't surprised that I got Confucius, because I was hoping for the other one, Lao Tzu. Because,
Me too, actually, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I can meditate, I can just absorb, enjoy nature, I could just sit there and do nothing. But Confucius is the opposite side of the
Exactly.
coin.
He actually met Lao Tzu, and Lao Tzu told him that Confucius is too much straight to the point. He won't be able to make any change if he really tells people, exactly what is wrong with them. He's going to just create enemies. People won't be able to take this advice like this. And actually this was right, because Confucius made a lot of enemies, and he had to sort of go around undercover a lot of times. And yeah, I wanted Lao Tzu too,
Okay.
and I thought that was
I wanted Lao Tzu because I know I'm left-sided, and I think Confucius is for the
yeah,
left-sided people.
I was reading Lao Tzu, and it was so like poetic and
Yes.
nice, and then I was
I could
complaining
just
to my mother that Confucius is so straight to the point
Yes.
and stuff. And actually I had a conversation with her in the car right before coming here, and because my mom's like, so how does this like pertain to you exactly? And I'm like, I don't know. This is so different. I wanted Lao Tzu and this and that. And then we just started talking about, and I was basically just criticizing him, how like he could have done a better job at like at helping other people, and then I kind of came to a conclusion, and about Shrimataji also said that, and I said, oh, but look, Shrimataji is the most successful one up until now, because she's motherly. That's what people need. They need soothing and everything for them to grow, right? So, and that's also true because Shrimataji has criticized the other gurus, even though it's all one, but different aspects, how they didn't really, in the moment, they weren't able to help the people that much because they were so righteous, but it was hard to find someone that was as righteous as them, or that would follow them so easily back then. But now, years later, China is very, like, its foundations is based on Confucius's philosophy and so on. So years later, he has made a difference, but in the moment, it was not so helpful.
Well, I think for me, Confucius is, you have to find your own path. And for me, that's difficult. I want someone to show me the path. So, but this Shri Confucius is no one's going to show you the path. You have to find it within yourself. So maybe that's why I'm like, I react to that. I'm like, no, I want something else, because I'm left-sided. Also with I noticed even the previous game, I would pick the Vishuddhi. And basically, no matter what I pick, it's always pointing out to the same thing. It's like, okay, you have to take responsibility. You're responsible for yourself. You have the responsibility to communicate, to also have better relationships with others. A lot of people in today's society want to be managers and people in power. I thought about this when I was younger, I'm like, no, I don't want to be a manager, because maybe I read something along the lines of Shri Confucius that the people who are on the top, the more power you have, it's actually the more responsibility you have. So I'm like thinking, no, I don't want all that responsibility. Just like a mother or a father, if you have a child, yes, it's fun to play with the child. The child is cute and everything, but you don't realize all that responsibility you have. So what's the problem with our society right now? We have all the power and fame and everything, but we don't have that other side that comes with the power and the fame and all that, that responsibility. You are responsible for the people who you're taking care of, who are under your leadership. So I think that's what Sri Confucius was. He wanted people who are in power to be, the more power, the more higher up you are in society, the purer you should be. And you should guide others by your example. Also, Sri Confucius did not speak a lot about God. And also, I think it was also something I read, the evolution of man. I can't remember the four. There was something about physical, emotional, and I'm not sure the third one, and then the fourth one is the relationship to God. Now, the last stage would be your relationship to God. And if, like for myself, if I'm having troubles with my relationship to God, I try to go, okay, I'm the spirit, so what's my relationship with myself? But with that, then I can become too self-absorbed. And again, here comes Sri Confucius and Vishuddhi chakra that I got before. It's, for me to get that better relationship with God is I have to have a better relationship with others. And to also stop focusing on me. I have to start focusing on other people's lives. And joy only comes from it when you help others. So I think it's kind of the path or messages that the only way that I'll be able to, like I want to attain, okay, a better relationship with God, but I can't do that until I establish that foundation with attaining a better relationship with others. So, and I wrote a quote with Confucius: I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, and I understand. So I think that was very good.
Anything else?